Marvel Studios. The announcement drops. Ant-Man. The lead role, Paul Rudd. The internet explodes. Not with excitement, with confusion. Paul Rudd. The guy from romantic comedies. The funny friend in every movie. That Paul Rudd. Marvel had taken risks before. But this felt different. This felt like a mistake. And here's what nobody expected. Ant-Man opens and makes $519 million worldwide. Paul Rudd becomes an Avenger, stands shoulder to shoulder with Iron Man and Captain America. But here's the real story, the one nobody tells. It took Paul Rudd 20 years to get to that moment. 20 years of being the guy everyone liked. But nobody took seriously. Stay with me. Because this story is not what you think. Early 2000s. Paul Rudd is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Clueless, Romeo and Juliet, Halloween age 20. He's in films, big films. But always on the side, always the friend. Always the guy who makes the lead look better. Never the lead himself. Hollywood had a label for Paul Rudd. Supporting actor. Likeable, charming, safe. But not a star. Not someone you build a movie around. And the real problem was something else entirely. Paul Rudd was too funny to be taken seriously. Too dramatic to be a pure comedian. He lived in the middle. And in Hollywood, the middle is the most dangerous place to be. Studios didn't know what to do with him. Directors liked him, but didn't fight for him. For nearly a decade, Paul Rudd watched others get the roles he deserved. And this is where everything almost collapsed. Passaic, New Jersey. April 6, 1969. Paul Stephen Rudd is born. His family moves to Overland Park, Kansas. A quiet, safe, Midwestern childhood. His father works for TWA Airlines. The family travels constantly. England. Different American cities. Paul grows up with no fixed identity. Always the new kid. Always adapting. Always learning how to make people like him quickly. That skill, reading a room, becoming what the moment needs, would later define every performance he ever gave. He studies at the University of Kansas, then the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in London. He is serious about the craft. More serious than anyone around him realizes. He moves to Los Angeles, gets Clueless in 1995, thinks this is the beginning. It is, but the beginning lasts much longer than he expected. Late 1990s, early 2000s, Paul Rudd is working constantly, but nothing breaks through the way it should. 200 Cigarettes, The Object of My Affection, Wet Hot American Summer. Good films, some great films. But none of them make him a star. He gets close, then falls back. Gets close again, falls back again. Then Judd Apatow calls, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, 2005. Paul Rudd is part of the ensemble, not the lead. But something happens on that set, chemistry. Real chemistry between Rudd and the entire cast. Knocked Up follows, 2007. I Love You Man, 2009. Suddenly, Paul Rudd is the king of a new genre. The Apatow comedy universe. Critics love him. Audiences love him. But here's what nobody expected. He still wasn't getting leading man offers outside comedy. Drama doors stayed closed. Action doors stayed closed. The label stuck. Funny guy. And then, Marvel made a phone call. Edgar Wright has been developing Ant-Man for years. Marvel wants a lead who can balance humor and heart. Someone audiences trust. Someone who doesn't take himself too seriously, but can carry a film completely alone. Paul Rudd gets the call. He's 44 years old. Most actors get their superhero moment at 30. Paul Rudd gets his at 44. He trains harder than he ever has in his life, completely transforms his body. The physical result shocks everyone on set. But here's what made Ant-Man work. It wasn't the muscles. It was the humanity. Paul Rudd plays Scott Lang, a regular guy. A flawed father trying to do right by his daughter, not a billionaire genius. Not a super soldier, just a man. And audiences connected with that instantly. Ant-Man opens August 2015, $519 million worldwide. Critics call it one of Marvel's most charming films. Paul Rudd is 46 years old, and he is finally, unquestionably, a movie star. After Ant-Man, everything changes. Captain America: Civil War, Avengers: Infinity War, Avengers: Endgame, one of the highest-grossing films in human history, $2.8 billion. Paul Rudd is at the center of it. But here's what separates him from every other Marvel star. He never stopped doing small films. The Catcher was a spy. Living with Yourself on Netflix. He refuses to become only a franchise machine. Then 2021, Ghostbusters, Afterlife, and something else happens in 2021. People magazine names Paul Rudd Sexiest Man Alive. At 52 years old, the internet cannot believe it. Not because he isn't attractive, but because Paul Rudd looks exactly the same as he did in Clueless. In 1995, the ageless man of Hollywood becomes a cultural phenomenon. Memes, headlines, global conversations. Paul Rudd laughs at all of it. Because that's who he is. Here's the truth about Paul Rudd. He never chased the spotlight. He never demanded the lead role. He never fought Hollywood publicly. He just kept showing up. Kept being better than anyone expected. Kept saying yes to small films when the big ones weren't calling. Kept building something real. Quietly. Patiently. For 20 years. The kid who grew up always being the new kid. Always learning how to walk into a room and make people feel something. Became the actor who walked into the Marvel Universe at 44. And made the whole world feel something. Not because he was the obvious choice. Because he was the right one. Hollywood didn't see him coming. For 20 years. And then, they couldn't imagine the story without him.